So I'm going to ask people your questions about anxiety right here in the beautiful Strand. Let's go. Let's try and get some random people here. But I don't look like a presenter, that's the problem. We just need to get one person. Do I look confident? Excellent, excellent. Perfect. Okay, so this is our sign so far. Let's talk about anxiety. But since I'm doing this for kind of exposure therapy, we're going to amend this to say I'm doing exposure therapy on it, and maybe people will be more sympathetic. So I'm going to do in brackets. In my handwriting, I'm doing exposure therapy. And maybe we'll get a couple people, because this is very hard. Okay. God.
I follow you on Instagram and TikTok.
No, dude. Someone just walked past and said he follows me on TikTok and Instagram, and that gave me some more confidence that we might get someone who wants to speak. He didn't actually want to speak, but I'm sure we're going to get one person. So let's keep trying. Anyone want to talk? Mental health? Anyone interested in mental health? Whew. I don't think the exposure therapy is working.
You have to actually ask someone though. Those two people are interested.
Who? Yeah, but they are looking at us like no way in hell.
Yeah, but you have to ask. They might say yes. You have to ask the question.
Anyone wants to talk about mental health? Hello. Mental health. Talk about mental health. I can't do it.
Do you want to talk about anxiety for a minute, sir? Okay. Do you want to talk about anxiety for a minute? Okay.
Hi, my name's Peter.
Ida, nice to meet you.
Ida, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, so basically I'm doing kind of a little form of exposure therapy by going out and just asking random people about anxiety.
Okay.
It's just something I'm really passionate about, and so I'd love to start off with just asking you, is anxiety something you've dealt with?
Yeah, 100%. I feel like it's very universal now as well. It's kind of everyone's got it these days, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of people I talk to, or have dealt with panic attacks. Have you ever had a panic attack before?
Yeah. They don't happen often, but it's often when I'm feeling quite overwhelmed or tired, and I'm not really listening to my body, I guess.
And what are kind of some of the things that you feel maybe when you're highly anxious or even having a panic attack?
I feel quite, just really scrambled, can't get my thoughts clear, shaking a lot of the times, just very, very overwhelmed, breathing as well. Yeah.
Do you feel like there's maybe a lack of awareness in anxiety, or do you think it's getting better?
I mean, it depends, because I feel like a lot of people as well now can say, oh, I have anxiety when it's sometimes it's just stress or being tired. I feel like now it's become almost like a very current word to like justify a lot of things as well. But I think anxiety, sometimes I try and remind myself, like, I think this sounds so lame that I'm quoting a philosopher, but Kierkegaard said that it was the dizziness of freedom. And I think sometimes I have to remind myself that it's not necessarily stresses or fears, but that it's also just like, I'm alive, and these are the consequences of being alive. I feel like obviously it's a lot more talked about now. It's a lot more talked about.
That's interesting, because I think that we have that sense of anxiety is a natural human thing that everyone should feel, and it actually is healthy and good to have. But then when it becomes a problem is when it's like encompassing your entire life, and stopping you from being able to live, because maybe you're so afraid of the things that might happen that you end up stopping doing the things that you enjoy. So I think that's actually really, really interesting. Sometimes I think of it in the way that I've heard people say like, oh, you have nothing to be anxious about, but I think necessarily it's not about that there has to be something. The whole point is that it's the way you're thinking, or it's the way like things feel, that even if there's nothing wrong, your body is reacting as if it is. I don't know. Have you relate to that?
Yeah, no, 100%. I also feel like, another way that kind of, I guess, calms me down is that a lot of the symptoms of the like initial thoughts of anxiety can also be like the initial thought or like the bodily responses to excitement as well. If you think about it, like if you're excited about an event that's happening or like a project you're doing, you usually are going to feel the same things as when you're really anxious. So it's about making the distinction as well. But I've definitely felt all of that. But it's a lot of, I think for me, it's a lot of internal work, and I have to give myself pep talks 24/7, which can be really exhausting. Like sometimes I wish I could just, go about my everyday life and not have to constantly, pep talk myself.
No, I relate to that, because it's almost sometimes I feel like basically I had agoraphobia and panic disorders. Like before COVID, I was just stuck in the house and I just couldn't leave because I was having panic attacks all the time. And I would try and like talk myself up to get out, and it just wouldn't, it just wouldn't happen. And so I know that feeling of like having to convince yourself to do something that you might consider like basic, or to convince yourself that, I should be able to do this, that kind of feeling. And it's definitely exhausting, and I think more and more people are kind of like experiencing this, and obviously there's so many different levels of it, but I don't know, I think it's just one of those things that's super important to talk about, even if that's just letting people understand it a bit more, so they know like what maybe is something that they need to get help on, what is normal, if that makes sense. And I know normal is a weird word to use.
But I feel also like a lot of the times if I'm feeling anxious about something, this is when you realize how important just talking is. Because if I talk about something I'm feeling anxious about for even 5 minutes to a friend, and someone tells me, but this is fine, like it's all in your head a lot of the times. And I think I get a lot of anxiety in the sense of, for example, like if I have like anxiety, I'll be like, oh, why did I say this last night? Like I seem like such an idiot, or like, why did I do this, or why did I do that? And then I try and think of other people, and I'm like, I would never think about, except if someone said something really fucked up, do you know what I mean? But I don't go around my day thinking about what every person has said or done, etc. So it's all in our heads. And I also think, my generation, I'm 24, we're just chronically online, and I think that's obviously like everyone has ADHD now, everyone has anxiety, and I think we're not built as humans to consume this much knowledge. We're not meant to, when I scroll my feed and I see a fit check, and then I see a best taco in London, and then I see genocide, and then I have to go about my day, like I'm in 30 minutes I'm consuming just as much as someone did 500 years ago in a lifetime. And that's so like it's also so annoying being aware of these things and then still doing it, like still opening Instagram, still reading the news, and also you want to be aware. Like it's such a vicious circle. But yeah, your brain just tricks you a lot of the times, and I feel like you have to just work with your brain to break patterns. And
I think that's an extremely good point. Like we consume so much, and we're like bombarded with information and sadness and grief, and even not our own, but you empathize when you see things online of like tragedy and stuff like that, and all of this like adds up, I think, and just contributes to this like overwhelming, I guess, anxiety that a lot of people are experiencing. And we're not designed, I guess, to do that and to live like that. And before a way I think about it as well is panic attacks, anxiety is often when there is not something directly there happening, right?
100%.
And so like when you have a panic attack, the only reason that it really is a panic attack is because that you're not injured or you're not, you're taking all those normal things like you said is similar to excitement, and you're misinterpreting that aroused, excited state as something dangerous is happening, or this means something dangerous, but you can't quite put your finger on it, and it just creates a cycle. So it's there's so much to talk about, but I don't know. Is there any, like, if you had a tip, or like top 3 tips, or for someone experiencing, a lot of anxiety, what would you say?
I guess kind of not to diminish like your problems, but kind of just I often think about that YouTube video of just that woman laying in the grass, and then you zoom out into the entire solar system. Like sometimes it's not that like it's not that deep, and you have to put things into context and like kind of try and get external opinions, and also talk about it 100%. When I've had panic attacks, I'm just like, I just try and cut everything out and just breathe for a sec, which sounds so ridiculous as well, but it's all your body needs. Like I even read somewhere that like if you splash yourself with cold water for like 30 seconds, it like almost reboots your system, and then you're clear-headed again. But talking, like taking your time as well. I think that's the issue as well. If you have a really hyperactive brain and you think a lot, it's like you just spiral so incredibly quickly. Tips, God. I think talking is probably the main thing. Knowing that someone relates to your experience, or just like is feeling sad or down, like it does bring a lot of comfort.
That's exactly why I want to do this, because even just you sharing this, someone watching it is going to feel like, oh my God, that's me as well. And like just that little thing in itself can make someone to feel like a little bit less alone, and a little bit like less like on that island drowning by themselves, because it's like, it's not that they want you to experience it, but it's like just knowing someone else does as well. And I was going to say something that you said.
I do have one more.
Like, yeah, please.
There's one thing I do, which I try and do every day, is like just be like, you're doing really well. You have a roof over your head. You have people to talk to. Like, I know sometimes it cannot be healthy to always just look on the bright side of life, but at the end of the day, that's all you need, and just really be kind to yourself. Like, I try and tell myself every day that I'm proud of myself, that I'm working hard, and that I'm doing things for the right reasons. And sometimes you almost kind of fake it till you make it a little bit, and tell yourself these things.
So yeah, sometimes I'm worrying, and I'm like, if I can worry, then I'm probably okay. You see what I mean? Like if I can worry about it, then I'm here. Let's go. Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you so much. I mean, this is exactly the kind of conversation I wanted to have, just a little heart to heart, I guess. And thanks so much for sharing.
I felt really anxious, and now I feel a lot better. So.
Really? Oh, okay. Can you say that again?
I felt very anxious, and now I feel great.
Okay. See, that's exactly. Yeah, that's it. That's the best thing ever. We finish right there. Perfect. Thank you so much. Ada. Sorry.
What's your name?
Peter. Okay, so we just did one interview with Ida, who was absolutely fantastic. It was really insightful, and we got our one down. We're going to see if we can get a couple more before we head out.
I would talk about it, but I'm too nervous, sorry.
Oh, come on! That's the point. That's the point. He said he would talk about it, but he's too nervous. But that's the point. Talk. Anxiety. We're doing interviews about mental health. TikTok, but it's not that kind of TikTok. It's serious. Actual mental health. Yeah. I'm going to ask, I don't know, really basic questions. Like, have you ever dealt with anxiety?
Yeah, I have, yeah.
Yeah, can you tell us maybe, okay, it's hard to ask that question, obviously, but let me do a more specific one. Have you ever had a panic attack?
Yeah.
would you be comfortable to tell us a little bit about that experience?
Yeah, go on then. The one that like stuck out to me the most is I was on the tube. I've now got like a really big fear of the tube because of it. But I suddenly just felt like I was gonna faint, and I like everything just went a bit, and I just like I had to get off. Basically, I was just stranded in the middle of Piccadilly Circus because I had to get off.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't really know what else to say about it. Like,
But did you end up okay in the end?
yeah, and I think my problem is that like, I like manifested it more. So because I thought about it so much, it was worse.
Yeah.
Like I was always going to be okay. I don't know.
Did you know it was a panic attack at the time?
No, I thought I was going to faint. And then I was like, oh wait, hang on. It's because I feel really like trapped and claustrophobic in this tube. Like I didn't.
Did you, so you felt like you're going to faint, you felt like, oh, did you faint?
No, I didn't. I've never fainted. I still have a fear of fainting, but I've never fainted.
So now, is it? Do you think you still have a fear of fainting or a fear of the tubes because of that incident?
Yeah, it's all because of the incident. I think that's literally it. Like, I've never worried about fainting until that one moment, and now it's like that's what I'm most scared of, I think.
And when did you like realize it was a panic attack?
When I got off and suddenly my heart was going, and I was like, right, I just need fresh air, like quick. I need to be in the open air. I can't be here anymore. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean that's just, I want to talk just stuff like that because so basically I used to get like daily panic attacks. I used to have it's called a panic disorder and agoraphobia, which is basically become like afraid of everything in a sense. And like in the same way, like I hate the tube as well, but I've been trying to face it as much as I can. Like, do you use the tube nowadays?
I'll do it if it's 1 or 2 stops, and there's specific lines I won't do. I love the District and Circle line. I'll do that any day.
It's exactly the same as me.
Yeah, but Bakerloo, get me off the Bakerloo and the Victoria line. There's not a chance.
Well, literally just like a couple of weeks ago, I was on like, I don't know which one, but it was one that was not like big air conditioned one, like and I got so hot, and for me like the heat gives me that feeling.
Yeah, I can feel the exact same. Yeah.
And but what I'm trying to do now is to get on it as much as I can and like go to more stops. Would you like, are you okay with just being able to go 1 or 2 stops, or is that something you want to work on?
Ideally it would be great because I live in South London, so to get anywhere central I need to go quite a few stops. But I'm kind of happy with the bus. Like I know I should try and get the tube more, but I like the bus.
I mean, to be honest, part of me is like, let's go on the tube now for the video, but I don't know, that's too hard. Yeah, I don't know, that's it. Thank you. I just want to thank you for talking.